a way for him to come back and help us in St. Louis. And he stepped to the plate without question for Save Our Sons. So I want to say thank you on behalf of the city of St. Louis. But most especially, thank you for being a man who cares about young people. So what I want to do very quickly is recognize the Urban League supporters, guild members, board members, Whitney Young members, young professionals, the young men. I hear you. I want to hear you. So I want to recognize the president of the Urban League Guilders. Christina Hazley is here. Is the president of the young professionals here? Okay. On behalf of...
No, he's not taking his shirt off. He ain't doing that.
Y'all hungry? My salad just came. They went and grew the lettuce, killed the chicken. Y'all had a good time today?
Yes!
This is beautiful. I just want to say, you know, this idea of bringing, I said this at the top of the show, but this idea of making this night happen. Y'all can talk, like, when we finish up here. The idea of making this happen really came to us yesterday, right? We were at the Urban League doing a little press conference, and my man Marlon, Marlon, come on up here, man. Marlon Lee, he's getting married soon. Chill out, chill out. He getting married. This is not Gary Payton, ladies and gentlemen. This is not. But we had the idea, like, hanging out at the Urban League. Said, hey man, you got some time to go do radio at Radio 1? We said, yeah. And we said, why don't we just put this together? So thank you so much for coming out. You know, television and acting is one thing, but for me, I was telling this story on the news a little while ago. When I was about 21 years old, I remember getting attacked by 4 white cops in New York. And I was trying to break up a fight in McDonald's. And I was, at the time, I used to run a youth program in New York called City Kids Foundation. And I see these kids messing around with the people at McDonald's. And one of the kids said to the employee, if you don't stop messing with me, I'm gonna shoot you with my 9mm water pistol. But somebody heard 9mm, they call the cops. Next thing I know, the cops run into the spot. And we all run out. Cops ran in with their guns drawn. And we went outside, and I get separated from the girl I was dating at the time. And I tapped this cop on the shoulder. I said, excuse me, officer, she's with me. And he said, get your fucking hands off of me. 2 other cops came, threw me on the cop car. They handcuffed me, they took me to the precinct. They locked me up. A couple of months later, I was at a conference with a bunch of city officials. I was 23 actually at the time. And they were all talking about all the things they wanted to do in the city to improve the lives of young people. And I happened to be the youngest person in the room. And I said at the time, Police Commissioner Lee Brown, who became the mayor of Houston, was at the podium talking. I raised my hand and I said, excuse me, Commissioner, as the youngest person in the room, I would like to speak on behalf of other young black men like myself to make sure that what happened with me with those 4 cops won't happen again. And he said, why don't you call my office? And I happened to have some business cards of my own. I went to my pocket, I said, you know what, why don't you call me? So I walked up to the podium and I gave him my card. And he actually called. We sat down and we had a meeting. In the meeting, I said, I want to work with the police academy to train police officers on how to deal with young black men. At the time, there was a black woman named Elsie Scott who ran the police academy. And we had the opportunity to work on sensitivity training with police officers. And I tell that story because obviously we know what happened here in the state of Missouri, in Ferguson specifically. And people often ask, I was doing an interview with D.L. Hughley actually today, and I told D.L. this story. And he asked, you know, what responsibility does the police department have in helping or making the community more sensitive? And I told that story because for me, it's just as much their responsibility as it is ours to figure out creative ways of problem solving. Today, come up here. I just met this kid. Come here. Darian, this is Davion, 13 years old. Now this kid told me, oh, my brother. I said, brother, help me please. Anyone's knocking me back down on my knees. That's all I got. Yes, put my girl alive. This girl right here, she used to work. It's been a long. So we're co-hosting we're co-hosting on Saturday.
Charlotte? I just want to say thanks for coming to St. Louis. As you know, it's a great city with great support. I've enjoyed 2+ years here with people who are just